again, people. That time again, weekend beat time, where we turn some of these into beautiful beats. Today, man, we got something a little raw. The beat turned out raw, so I'm gonna show you guys how to make these beats, show you the samples. So without further ado, people, this is weekend beat time. Alright guys, now very quickly, one of the changes that I'm making to the channel is I'll be telling you guys what samples I'll be flipping, and then I'll go ahead and flip them, and that'll give you guys an opportunity to download or to find the sample as well, and then you know, have a crack at making the beat, you know what I mean? And then you guys can link me up with the beats that you're making and that, and let other people that are on the channel check them out as well, man. I reckon that'd be pretty cool. Also, I find that when I'm making videos and I'm recording the whole process of making beats, I cover a lot more content, man. So it's something that the newbies will be able to just pick up on and just enjoy the videos, and something that the people that have been watching these videos for a bit now will be able to just pick up on things as they go along as well, man. You know what I mean? Just thinking about the longevity of the channel. All right, guys. So all right, let's do it. Let's get that sample happening. Guys, first sample is from Raja Records, and it's called Itsura Lang. See that? Good luck finding this sample, but it's okay. Lucky for you guys, it's not a key sample. I'm just gonna rip out a little sound out of it. Let me just show you this. That's all, right? That, because that sort of strum of the guitar is what I'm going to use. I'm going to see if maybe I could put that on the snare, every second snare or something like that, right? Alright, that's all it is, man, but I'm just trying to collect the arsenal now, man, because I'm not sure what sort of beat I'm going to make. Second sample is Air Supply, Love and Other Things. Oh, no, it isn't. Love and Other Bruises. Alright? Let's jump on that. I'm sampling this in two parts, alright? Basically because the start of the sample, the start of the record is like really soft, and then in the second part of the intro, there's organs and this sort of stuff comes in, so I want to keep that separate. Mainly because I could use one as like the bass sample when somebody's rapping, or you know what I mean, of the instrumental, and then the second part I may be able to layer it on top and create a chorus out of it, or use it to fill the beat in a little bit more. This is how you make beats full, you know what I mean? Don't just rely on one sample. You stack samples, you get different parts of the same song, and then that way it starts building up, right? I'm going to be running my finger on the record very lightly and quickly to warp the sound, give it the LFO, make it sound vintage. You can hear it. I'll sample the second part.
As the time slips through your...
That's it, man. Alright, let's look at some other parts. Alright, guys. Now for the break. The break, I'm going to be using Love Man by Max Q. Oh, sorry. Love Man, yeah. Max Q. Alright? Now this is on CBS Records. You know what? There's actually a couple, the other one was on CBS Records too, man. If you ever see this symbol when you're out digging, you ever see this icon right there? CBS, pick it up. Sometimes it's got like country and shit like that, man. But you might find that there's always every now and then there's a couple of goodies. But if you can find it cheap, you know what I mean. Some guys selling a box or whatever it is, go for it, man. It's more record labels like this that you gotta be worried about. You know what I mean? These are like independent ones or whatever, man. Sometimes they release really shit music, right? But CBS was kind of mainstream. You'll be able to pick up a couple of good ones out of that, man. If anyone knows the history of CBS, man, I'd love to know about that. If you want to drop some of that stuff in, some of that knowledge in the comments, man. All right, cool. So, Love Man. It's the break. So here's the sample.
So what you gonna know?
Alright, sample that in. Whenever I'm chopping up my samples, you know what I mean? Let me just show you how I do it. I do it according to the pads, alright? I don't go through and just chop off little bits and pieces. I don't really get into that, man. I enjoy the spill of samples that are over chopped or come a little bit early. I like the imperfections, man. So let me just show you this. See, look, I'm gonna do the counts, right? Alright, so that part, I'm gonna fucking get rid of that shit. See, look. Alright, there. So now it's 7 pads. See? It cuts off. So I chop that. 7 pads. Done. Move on to the next sample. Alright. That's how I'm going to be chopping all of my samples. One thing that I like to do, guys, is I like to make my drums first, right? But I need to know what sort of beat I'm going to make. I couldn't really tell. I knew it was a good sample, but I couldn't really tell. So I start messing around a bit with the samples. Alright, so I just tune them down, right? Did was just messing around a bit, I tuned them down. Now on the MPC, I tuned them down to a -5, which is this, right? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. I can picture it going. Sounds a bit dark, you know what I mean? That's the sort of beat that I'm gonna make, right? I could see that's how it's gonna transform. So I'll use my break for that. If I need to, I will stack other bits and pieces on top of it, and to give the drums that feel. The drums are always gonna carry the feel, always, man. If you got awesome drums, the beat's gonna be awesome no matter what, man. So I'm gonna go through and start putting these drums together in that sort of feel. Alright, like that. Let's do it. Guys, like I was telling you before, I like to chop my breaks up in the same way that I do my samples, alright? So in this case, this is what I've done, right? Alright, so it follows that. Certain ones, like my snare, it had a little bit of spill. It had that extra hi-hat. So I chopped that out. Just left me with my hi-hat. Then I created a real short sort of backup kick. So I wanted to get boom, 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 boom. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep adding to it, but that's the rhythm that I'm building. Let's keep going. Been working on it. Been looking at it. My hi-hat pattern is going to be this. Boom, dun, 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 dun. That's gonna be my hi-hat pattern. The other thing is this, guys. Whenever you're hitting your pads or it doesn't matter what you're using. If it's touch sensitive, think about your fingers. All right. Usually, most people will use their I don't even know what this finger's called, right? But they'll use this, and that finger tends to have the most strength, or they'll back up their I don't even know, their index finger. and go hard. If you want to create a little bit more finesse when you're hitting your pads, use this finger, use your ring finger. It's got a little bit less torque, it's got a little bit less strength. So when you're hitting it, it comes more from your wrist rather than a stiff finger, all right? So that's what I'll be using to do this hi-hat, because I want it to come in and out, right? Without using the 16 levels, I want to create more of a natural feel. So remember, use your ring fingers if you want a little bit more finesse. Still working on these drums. I've got it on note repeat, right? 132. Right, 132. And what I'm using it for is, I'm using it for a drum roll just before one of my snares, right? Check this out. Really light, really faint, really faint. Right, check it out. Yeah. Oh yeah, like that, right? So let me just record that shit. Yeah. Like that. Alright guys, now you remember this sample? Alright, so I got that sample, and what I did was take that first part and time stretched it. And I pitched it down. I pitched it down a little bit. Oh, sorry, I tuned it down. Not pitched it. I tuned it down. This allows it to sort of stretch out a little bit as well. Got a lot of ring in it, but it's all good. I'm just gonna put a really quick filter on it so it hasn't got so much of that low end, that weight. We don't really need it. Right? What I'm using it for is for my drum. I am gonna go full levels with it. Alright? Meaning I'm gonna put it at full volume, and then that way I'll bring it down. I'll fix the volume in a sec. Every second one. Oh hell. Alright, now I'll bring that shit down. Alright, leave it in the background. It's just adding to the drums. Guys, and remember this sample? Well, I had this part, which is like a hi-hat with heaps and heaps of crackle. Alright? So I'm gonna use that hi-hat, and I'm gonna double up the hi-hat. So it's gonna have the original plus this disgusting one right here. I'm gonna bring the volume down a little bit. Damn it. It's gonna have a low pass on it and a high pass. So I'm just gonna get just mainly the crackle, but it's just to add character to the drum kit. So you still have the crackle coming through. Alright. And what I'm gonna do is add some reverb to it, just to blow up the drums, make them nice and big. And yeah, then we'll start looking at the samples. Hey guys, it's sample flipping time. Drums are sounding fat. I'd love to have a bass, but I usually put the bass after the sample. Alright. Now I found that with the sample, I found that the sweet spot for tuning it down for this sample was -5. I found that was the sweet spot for me. Alright, so I'm just gonna sample that in, well not sample it in, I'm gonna work out the arrangement, and then I'll probably take off some of that low end so we can move on to the bass and start filling this this beat up. Alright, let's do that. Bass. It's not a natural bass. It's a sampled Moog key put onto a 16 levels. It's not the greatest bass, but hey man, we're just making beats, you know. It's just fun. All right, let's just do it. Alright, so we're gonna keep going. I got this sample here. Remember I said that sample I actually used 2 parts? Well, this was the first part, and the first part has this part. I put a high pass, so I made it sit right at the top of the beat, right at the top of the beat. Alright, so I got rid of all the low end stuff, and I kept just the crispy stuff at the top. I'm very this is just one of the things I do. It's very common for me to do that. All right. Let me show you this. See, this is how it's gonna come in, right? So it goes. It goes like this. Put an echo at like that, right? Let's check it out, guys. And one last sample I'm sneaking in there just to fill it in a little bit more, give it an extra dimension. Is this one, CBS, again, CBS Records. It's by Paul Anka. This is the first time. All right, this is the sample. Just for those pianos, man. That's all it's for. Just to add it a little bit. I'll show you what I did on the beat. That's all I'm doing. Alright, that's recorded now. So that's just to add dimension while the rap's happening, while the track is progressing. You want to put little bits and pieces, man. It makes a big difference for a good production. Alright, cool. I think that's it. I'm not gonna add anything else to it. Let's do a track presentation. Alright, guys, here it is. The presentation, you know what I mean, of the beat. We put it together. Now, cup of tea, man. What we've done is, now this has 13 layers. Right? This beat has 13 layers. This is the core of the beat. If you were to produce, you know, somebody was going to rap on this or whatever, what you'd want to do is you'd want to make a couple of different arrangements as well. You know what I mean? So you could just keep the beat changing and keep it interesting. All right. But for now, it's got 13 layers. I think probably about 8 of them are just drums, man. So if you're hitting the 8 mark, then it's really good, man. You know, it means it's going to be nice and full. All right. So I'll play sample first, and then we'll just start jamming it out a little bit. All right. Everything. Yeah, da, gone. 3, 1, let's be this practice. Bass. This will be when someone's rapping. You know what I mean? If you want an echo to come in, got that. See that? The echo comes in, but it adds that noise. Show what I did with the piano. to go down a bit. More subtle. Like that. There it is again. That's chorus. You know what I mean? That's it, guys. Hey man, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys got questions, whatever it is, just put it in the comments, man. You guys know what sample it was, man, so if you guys do flip it, I'd love to hear it, man. Some of you guys have been linking me up to your beats and that. Man, I've been listening to them, man. They sound really good. Thanks to everybody that's been using the drum kit as well, man. You know, it's just a bit of fun spreading the love, man. So I'll see you guys next week. Remember, from now on, guys, what I'm going to be doing is just be making beats, and as we go along, man, you know what I mean, you just pick up stuff. Alright? So peace, guys. Take care of yourselves, man. You know what I mean? Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, man, and your family. Be good to everybody, man. Don't take your work for granted either, man, because work ain't easy to come by. Alright? So peace. Till next time, guys.